This is Dr. Oprisan from the College of Charleston, Physics and Astronomy Department. And in this short video, I'm going to explain to you how to use the MP45 v, system from Biopac. The materials you have included are, in addition to the hardware, you have electrodes and disposable electrodes and gels. And obviously, you will need a computer system. You have also, in addition to the hardware, some software requirements, including the CD that you have and the analysis software that you can download. So the first thing that you would like to do is obviously install the Biopac Science Lab from the CD that was provided, and I walk you through the steps that you actually need. It's pretty straightforward. Just use the installation CD. It's nothing special there, but you have to have this. Now, in addition to that software from the CD, you need to install also the Biopac Science Lab analysis software, and you can download it. It's available online. It's free. And then you unzip it and just install the BSL analysis setup as usual, as I demonstrate in this short video. So those are the two pieces of software that you need in addition to the hardware, which is the MP41 um, from Biopac. So I will let you watch the rest of the installation video. It's a pretty straightforward procedure. Wonderful. So now that you're done with the installation of all the software required for operating the MP41 from Biopac, you can start the analyzer, and you'll see inside a lot of details about the hardware, which is the MP in itself, and the description of the buttons you have. Um, we purchased it directly from Biopac, and inside the package, as you see, is pretty minimal number of elements that you actually need for running your experiments. And there is a significant list of labs that you could run with this simple equipment at home or with your students remotely. So you have the electrodes, and right there is the MP41 in that package. This is connected to your computer with an USB connector, and that is pretty much everything you need to know. It has a knob that you can use to switch from, select from different options. You can use it for electromyography, EMG, or you can use it for electrocardiograms, ECGs, or many other things. You have to watch the indicators, obviously. Um, they explain pretty much what is the indicator. The most important is to keep following the instructions in the manual. This is the uh, connectors that connect your electrodes, and these are the disposable electrodes that you'll use. And in this short video, we'll discuss about electromyography, or EMG, which basically records the activity from the muscles. Now, obviously, we'll talk about skeletal muscles mostly, and basically the function of the skeletal muscles, that is to convert chemical energy into mechanical energy. And in doing so, basically, they are activated by nerves, and those motor nerves carry electricity, which we can detect with this MP41 device. And the detection, amplification, and recording of that electric activity is basically what we call the electromyography. So basically, what we want to do as objectives is to observe the activity in skeletal muscles, record the tonus of the muscles, and also record a maximum clench strength for right and left hand. And we'll do some measurements also, quantitative measurements. Now, regarding the experimental setup, there are simple steps that you need to follow. So obviously, you need to turn the unit on, and you need to connect um, uh, the wires that actually link the electrodes to the MP41 device, and you'll need the electrodes, disposable electrodes attached to your skin. So I will walk you through the details. As you notice, it's mostly connecting now the MP41, um, the wires that actually carry the signals to the MP41 from the electrodes. You'll see that you have the three wires, white, red, and black, and the end of the wires actually attach to the disposable electrodes that you also have. And we'll do the EMG, and that means I need to place three disposable electrodes on my, let's say, right hand, the dominant hand, one on the interior part of the wrist, one the exterior, and one on the forearm, as you see that. So I will record from 3 points on the right arm and symmetric 3 points on the left arm. The idea of the experiment is to observe the electric activity in the muscles of the arms, and also to determine the quantitatively the strength of clench under different conditions. But first, obviously, you need to do a calibration, and that's a pretty simple, straightforward and procedure. And then you do the data recording first from the dominant arm and then from the non-dominant arm. And the procedure is the same. Basically, you clenching and releasing. It's a cycle of four such clenching and releasing, like you see in this example, where you increase progressively your strength. So here is our experiment that we did. First, we did the calibration of the MP41 unit, of course. And as you actually see, um, every time you start the Biopac lab, the software asks you to check the unit as you see it, and to check the unit, basically you need to hold that button with the check mark on the MP41 unit, um, and that is the first step that you always have to do when you start your experiment. Now, as you see in the video, I just started the BLS lab, and then we just do the calibration. And the calibration is straightforward too. You just clench um, the arm for 2 to 3 seconds. And then you do the dominant arm recordings if you're happy with the calibration. So you do a series of four clenches for 2 seconds, then a pause, relax muscles for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then do it again with an increased strength as you see in our recordings. So basically is a series of um, successive clenches with um, stronger and stronger intensity there. Ideally, you would like to have two partners for recordings, and then you switch the electrodes. You notice I placed the black electrodes toward the interior. I placed the red electrode, which is the hot electrode, toward the exterior, and the white electrode on the forearm. All these descriptions are in the user manual, and you can read about them and make the arrangement as is described in the lab. And then I do the same four clenches on the non-dominant arm. Um, Hold and squeeze a ball or whatever, something that is convenient for you to hold in your hand. The idea is to check the intensity. And as you see over the recordings, the intensity, the top panel shows you the electric activity, and the bottom panel shows you the average activity. As you increase the strength of your clench, also the envelope, which is the lower panel, shows you a higher and higher intensity. And you can save your data for later data analysis. And here is the data analysis that we carried on. This is a simple experiment. So basically, we will turn off every single measurement, as you see, except the first one. We will measure the mean. And basically what we're doing, we have um, a very simple tool that you see on the right hand side of the panel, and you select whatever range you want of your experimental data with the mouse, and you'll get immediately the mean. And as you notice, I save the mean in my project. So you have an option of saving these values as you work through your project. Um, in your project notebook. So this way you will remember, you have a record of what you've done for your final report for this lab. So first I do, as you see, the four clenches for the dominant arm, and then I moved to the four other clenches on the non-dominant arm. And afterwards, I'm going to record the baseline activity in between the clenches, so that I have kind of a reference of what is going on, what is the baseline there. Again, the activity in the muscle bundle, you actually notice increases in strength. That's the top panel. And as the neurons recruit more muscle bundles, and that is also reflected in the envelope, which is the bottom panel. Now I'm measuring the interclench that is supposed to be basically the baseline, and it's supposed to be a very low intensity. it kind of gives me an idea of what is the value for the tonus of the muscles, and it provides a reference, and that allows me to compare the increase um, in the muscle activity with the strength of the clench. And don't forget to save your notebook for your project so that you can use it, use the numbers that you saved there later for your final report. Now that you're done with the data analysis, you have to write a final report. This is a standard lab report. You have it in the booklet that comes with the MP41. You can download it also from online. And basically, I do nothing else, but now I copy and paste the values from that I saved during the experiment from my notebook of the experiment and put them back here. And this is, in the end, I have also to answer some of the questions that I prepared for this particular unit to test my knowledge of the subject. And that's pretty much everything about using MP41 for electromyography.